I broke up with her and I left her in Toronto. I had to do it, man. Like, this was almost 5 years ago. This was my girl. I loved her a lot, but the relationship was toxic. And when things are just toxic and you keep trying, and it's not working, and it's just like you had enough. So I had to stop. I had to leave her alone. I had to be a man and say, enough is enough, and walk away. And that's the exact relationship that I had with weed. This April is gonna make 5 years sober that I stopped, and my life has gotten better since the day I smoked my last joint at my homie's party. And my weed journey honestly started back in high school. Now, I was a high level athlete, so I didn't really smoke a lot, but my first weed memory was being in the field near McCown and Finch for my people from Scarborough, and I smoked with two of my homies. Now, the first time that I smoked, I don't even think I got high, but that was the first time that I actually remember like smoking weed myself. This was in high school. Fast forward now, I think maybe I was like 17 or 18. I was at another friend's house with a couple of homies, and then we smoked there, and then we got into the back of the car. When I was in the back of the car and I was looking up at the stars, that was the first time I got high. I remember that. I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, this was crazy. It was a crazy feeling. Now, as I said, I was a high level athlete, so I didn't smoke like that. It was only here and there, right? Now we get to college, and during college, I played football, so I didn't smoke during the season. Never during the season, because we got tested, right? But during the off season, I would smoke, but again, it was controlled, right? Wasn't anything too crazy. I drop out of school, and then I start to make music, and this is when everything really starts to kick in for me. When I start smoking almost daily. I'm smoking with friends, I'm smoking with family. I really just, care about weed and music, because at the time, those were the things that made me feel good, right? Because I wasn't playing football anymore, and although I had an idea of what I wanted to do, I was still sad, because when you give your life to something like a lot of years and it doesn't pan out the way that you see it for whatever reasons, it's hard, man. It's hard. So to deal with it, you just kind of want to numb it, right? And that's kind of what the weed did for me as well. It made me just forget about things. It made me feel good for the moment, but after I came down, I felt like shit. And I had a toxic relationship with weed, man. Like, I couldn't do anything without smoking. I had to smoke before showering. I'd wake up and smoke before brushing my teeth. I would smoke before making songs. I would smoke after songs. I would smoke before the gym. I would smoke after the gym. There was a lot of weed in the picture. And as I said, I was never this type of person, right? Now, I've met a lot of stoners in my life, like real stoners. I wasn't a super stoner, but I smoked. But I know like the real stoners. And that was never me. So when I dropped out of school and I started getting into this behavior, I felt like I was losing myself. I was becoming a person that wasn't actually me. And this was dark, man. But when you're stuck in that loop, you don't see a way out, because you're like, well, this is me now. I'm not an athlete anymore. I don't really have anything to train for. The passion is gone. So what's the point? I guess I'm just gonna rap and smoke and be like everyone that I see in the music industry or online, right? Because as a kid, when you grow up and you're listening to this music, right, you're heavily influenced. You think these people are superheroes. You think that they're super cool, before the games, you're listening to their songs. So they have a big impact on you. And it's crazy because you don't even know them. You just know the image that they put out to you. So I was influenced to smoke. And I'll tell a story. I remember being a kid and, my pops, he's a smoker. He does his thing. And I remember being a kid and my pops would smoke inside of the garage. And then I remember seeing like green stuff on the table. And I would always think like, what is this? Like, I had no idea what it was. I can't remember if I asked him what it was or not. If I did, he probably told me like, it's nothing, it's for adults or something. But like, that's another early memory that I have of weed, was just like seeing my dad smoke and things like that. And each man makes their own decisions in life. Like, that's one thing that I learned. For some people, it works. For some people, they can function. For other people, it doesn't work. And you have to go through that process for yourself, and then come to your own conclusions. And some of the impacts that weed had on me was a lot, man. Like, I remember times when I would feel depressed if I didn't smoke. Like, I just wanted to smoke. Like, I look forward to smoking. Smoking weed, it gave me the munchies, like the super munchies. I'm talking about like, I could go into the fridge and literally eat everything that's there. Leftover food, juice. After that, go to the pantry, eat all the cookies. I was a super foodie when I was off the weed. And when I smoked weed, it also made me become very paranoid in public as well. Like, I would be in public and I wouldn't even be aware of what was going on around me. I would just be so in my head, like, what is going on? Low-key having many anxiety attacks, especially in public. When I was at the crib or with friends, like, we would smoke. It would be eat and then pass out, or smoke, play NBA 2K, and then pass out. So we weren't really doing anything too productive off the weed, if I'm being completely honest. But it was a way to feel better, man. It was a way to avoid life's problems. It was a way to escape the world for a minute or 30 minutes or an hour. But the worst part, as I said, it's always the come down. The come down is the worst part. And I could only imagine how people feel like when they do stronger drugs, like crack or, maybe Molly or these types of things. I never got into that, but those drugs are way stronger. So the come down is probably worse, And yeah, weed is just a crazy thing, man. And honestly, if you told me right now that in April I would be 5 years sober from weed, I wouldn't believe you. I honestly would not believe you, because for a long period of time, it was a part of my life. And how did I do it? Man, honestly, when I realized that it wasn't helping me become the person that I wanted to be, I knew I had to stop. When I knew that it was actually holding me back, when I actually had time to think, when I was sober, I'm like, this is actually not helping me. And I don't like the person that I'm becoming off the weed. Like, I'm not working out, I'm not training properly. I would still train here and there, but it wasn't to the degree that I would when I was training for football. And as I said, like, for a long time, I was a football player and I was locked in, right? So going from that to like a full-time stoner was just a crazy plot twist. And I never saw that for my life. And I'm grateful that I like snapped out of it, because some people never snap out of it. Some people stay locked into the drugs, to the partying for decades. And then they wake up at 40, 45, and they're like, holy, like, what happened? So I'm grateful that I was able to kick the habit. And one thing that really helped me was just replacing it, right? Replacing it with the gym. Every time I got the urge to smoke, it's like, nah, let's go to the gym. Or every time I got the urge to smoke, it's like, nah, let's read a book. One of the books that really helped me, and I actually gave this book away to a homie, and he gave me a book back. But one book that helped me is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Shout out to Peps. He's the one that recommended that book to me. If you see this video, brother, mad love. But yeah, that book is essentially a conversation with the devil. And for me, what I took away from it was like all of these negative thoughts in your mind is straight from the devil. It's not from God. It's not from a good source. It's things that's actually trying to weigh you down and hold you down in life. But you have to be willing to confront the devil because he's there. If you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. You believe in light, you believe in dark. You have to have the contrast. That's just the human condition, right? But every single day with every choice that you make, if you can lean towards the good path, to the light, more than the evil, I believe that your life is going to be better. But it's hard because we're tempted by the evil things because it's so good, right? It makes you feel so good. You feel like you're alive, binging, eating like crap, smoking, hookup culture. You just feel it's like ecstasy, right? But when you stop and you pause and you're by yourself for a moment, you ask yourself, man, why did I do that? Why did I do this? The devil got to me again. The demons got to me again. And this is just what it is to be a human, right? We're fallen creatures, right? But this is why we need God, because we're going to sin every single day, right? And even if you're not a religious person, deep down inside, you know that feeling when you do these things, you feel bad afterwards. You feel off afterwards. You ask yourself, like, or you tell yourself, this is stupid. Like, this doesn't feel good. Like, why is this happening? Right? And the truth is that that voice is that God consciousness in you, letting you know. As long as you have that consciousness, you should be grateful because it lets you know that your soul is still intact. For some people, they just go black, they just go dark. They don't feel anything, which is crazy. So if you could still feel, if you have that voice, you're blessed, man. And as I said, it's just about listening to the good voice more than the evil. And that's really, what made me or helped me give up the weed was that voice. Like, you probably shouldn't be doing this. But then you have the other voice, nah, it's okay. And it's a constant battle. But eventually, you got to listen to one over the other. And that's what really helped me, man. Replacing the bad habits, asking myself, is this even helping me get further in life? Like, if you're dead broke, why are you smoking weed? If you're dead broke, if you're overweight, why are you smoking weed? You have no business smoking weed if you're not where you want to be in your life. Listen, you got millions, you got the exact life that you want. Who am I to tell you how weed is affecting you? Only you know deep down inside. But if this hits your soul right now, if you feel like, man, he's speaking to me, he's speaking for me, it's because I am, bro. I was once you. I was once the person that wasn't content with life, wasn't in shape, $30,000 in debt, addicted to weed. I was you. I know how it is. And I'm telling you, now being on the other side of the fence, like, there's a way, bro. It's possible. There's light at the end of the tunnel. But you just have to shift your identity and make make the decisions that the highest version of you would. What would he do? How does he act? How does he think? You're not that person right now, but you need to act like him now. And the faster that you do that, you're gonna collapse that time from where you are to where you wanna be. And it's just like that, man. Give up the weed, go sober for a month, and I promise you, your life is gonna get better. Let's go, fellas.